It could be a bubble because it's been going high. If you look on the chart, the chart is myself. It's a steep slope.
Oh my goodness. I think it's going to last forever. Cryptocurrency is where it's at. It's from mining it online through your computer system. So it's just whether it's going to be a accepted form of currency or not is really the big question. You're buying currency, except it doesn't have an exchange rate. It's not monitored by the government or the bank. It's just like a currency that is like global. Well, you don't know yet. See, everybody doesn't accept Bitcoin. Everyone's trying to figure out, how do I pay with Bitcoin? No one knows really. So a lot of the large corporations are now accepting Bitcoins as payment. So, the thought is that this will be our global currency that will be accepted everywhere.
I give it at most 6 months. Bitcoin's the main value is essentially black market transactions, anonymous transactions. So the question is, what is the value of that market? And do you even need to own Bitcoin to participate in that? Because most people participating on these like Silk Road type of situations are simply just buying the Bitcoin for just a few minutes, putting it through a coin tumbler, making a transaction, and then getting the money back out. So it's really just this mechanism of transaction, which makes you wonder, why would you even hold on to it? Like, what is the point of the Bitcoin?
3 months. I just think a lot more people that don't have an idea about investing and getting invested in it. So I just think eventually a lot of the big investors are going to pull out their money and then it's going to crash from there. I would not invest. I don't have enough knowledge about it.
Well, it's going to last longer than until it completely crashes, and I would think there's always going to be somebody that's going to buy into it, don't you think? I think so. See, if I had some money and I had a smart friend who seemed to know what they were doing and was making money off of it, I might be able to be convinced in on it. It eventually will get you something, so I think it's kind of a gamble, but a lot of people like to gamble, and they're okay with that.
It could be a bubble because it's been going high very, very fast. If you look on the chart, and I'm a chartist myself, it's a steep slope going up, and whenever something goes up like that, it's sort of like a bubble, and this thing might even crash down. Who knows, maybe to a realistic price. Let's see what it does next year. If you see any big movements going down, you might sort of tell that this might crash soon.
It could be a month, it could be forever. Depends on whether people adopt it or not, the confidence level on it. If people develop confidence in it, it'll be around forever. If the banks get involved and people get nervous, they'll probably not be around very long. Would I invest in it? Yes, I'm actually thinking about it right now. It's a risky, but sometimes high-risk things pay off, and sometimes you would only invest what you're willing to walk away from. You invest something that if you get hurt, you don't care.
I think that people aren't comfortable with the idea of a currency that they can't hold on to, in theory at least. Yes, and I don't think it's going to last, because I think that everybody who's comfortable with the idea has already invested. It hasn't proved that yet. I'm not saying I never would, but certainly not now.
From what I remember, a few years ago it was in the news, and it was quite new at that point, and I see right now, a few years after, maybe like 7 years after, I see it has growth a lot. So I expect that there's a lot of demand for that, and with the world today going a lot into, like internet banking, all this kind of thing, I believe people will be agree to buy this kind of currency and get more into this virtual currency. I believe it's gonna grow. We'll see.
It could be a bubble because it's been going high. If you look on the chart, the chart is myself. It's a steep slope.